Once upon a time, small Yamadera called Manganji was in the country of Shinana. There was the tradition to turn the light at the temple of the mountain in the dead of night by all means for a long time. As the light of this temple was performed in the high place, it was seen from the village of the foot very well. By the way, one day a child was brought to the temple. Father of this child was unemployed person living of the long time. He was in trouble even to the thing to eat of the day. So he left his child at this temple saying, "Please, this child to an excellent Buddhist priest." As a new boy came, the chief bonze of a temple was pleased very much. As the boy was just ran away because it was afraid to touch a midnight light. The chief bonze of a temple shaved the head of the child neatly at once and had the boy of the temple. In the next morning, the chief bonze of a temple guided a boy to a small temple to light. The hall is in a high place in the depths of the mountain behind of the temple. So to go there one must pass through the gloomy rocky cavern. There was a weird place for even a chief bonze of a temple. The boy who came this time was made to go with one small lantern to the hall at midnight, where weird even at noon. When he came through a rocky cavern, a bat flies about it noisily, and sometimes the branch of the tree was caught on a collar. Whenever a boy went to light the hall he was scared and he shook and burst into tears. Still a chief bonze of a temple said, "Everything is training. Bear it." However, it is a certain evening, the boy was too scared, he came home without turning on a light. Well, the chief bonze of a temple was angry when he knew the thing and hit a boy with the stick of the tree over and over again. However, a blow to the wrong place, the boy had died since then. The surprised chief bonze of a temple buried the body of the boy under the temple, not to be found by a person. In addition, he said, "Good grief! A boy escaped." And he looked on something with indifference. However, from the evening, he came to hear a mysterious sob every night from the mountain behind of the temple. The men who worked for the temple heard the very sorrowful voice take each other. "On earth where does the sorrowful voice hear from?" They told, "We cannot sleep when we heard the too sad voice." While a certain evening, temple employee and Buddhist priests heard the sob, unable to contain themselves, and they went out together to the mountain behind. They went to the place where the crying made with a lantern for a hand. A small light was seen from between a tree before long. That is surely a light of the temple. Though a boy is not the mysterious thing. Everybody approached the hall to quicken their steps unintentionally. Though nobody came to set fire, a light shook in the hall of the mountain to and fro. The next morning, chief bonze of a temple who listened to the story became scared suddenly. And he did the memorial service of the boy whom he killed. But the sob did not stop, and the lights went on a hall when it was in the every dead of night. By the way, it was the next year. One samurai visited the village of the foot. It was that father who left Pretty his child at the temple. As a night had already closed in that day, he was lodged in the house of the farmer of the foot overnight. When it was night and he saw the light which shook on the mountain, he was pleased. Oh, my son discharge his duties. However, the samurai woke up for a mysterious sob in the dead of night incidentally. Pretty my son who shaved a head neatly sat by the pillow when he saw it. He was going to call for the name, but a voice did not come out because he was bound hand and foot. As well as a voice, he could not get up. In the following morning, father heard a strange story. I hear the voice of the sob from the temple of the mountain at the noon when I go to this mountain. It was miserable crying as if it attached to someone. Possibly. When father caught a sword, he went up to Yamadera in a great hurry, but he never came down the mountain. And, from the night, the light of the temple was not turned on, and was that 3 fireballs came to appear in the mountain behind of pitch black Manganji every night instead.